Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here's a headline from Seeking Alpha. Elizabeth Warren wants the SEC to kill crypto. Gary Gensler had better not agree. And so, my friends out there, clear bad intentions here. So, I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of Elizabeth Warren at all. And if it were up to her, I mean, it seems pretty damn clear crypto just wouldn't exist. And so this article actually specifically cites Ripple and specifically cites XRP. And the author of this is Jared Whitley. And I'd covered one other piece that he had written at some point in the past. But you can see he's described as, a, quote, a long-time Washington politico having worked in the U.S. Senate, the White House, and the defense industry. He writes with a specific eye on how actions in Washington will affect Wall Street and the broader economy. So suffice it to say, he gets the broader implications of actions that United States senators take. And specifically, again, also recognizing in this article exactly what's going on with Ripple and XRP. It's all interwoven here. And so I'm optimistic for the long haul. I think that the people that want crypto to go away or, regulate it into insignificance, if that's the mission, and there are people that have that as a mission effectively, I think history will show that they'll fail. Just like the people that didn't want the internet back in the day, like you think back to mid-90s, there were people that didn't want the internet to be broadly adopted. They thought it was just too dangerous. And indeed, in the early days, there was a large percentage of activity that was unsavory, let's say, but that doesn't mean there wasn't potential. Just like you could use any good technology for bad purposes, and so like bad people will continue to be bad people. That doesn't mean you throw out the technology here. And so anyway, I wanted to run through this, but I do want to be clear. I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos as a fun hobby here. And so in we go. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Massachusetts, has made herself clear that she sees cryptocurrencies as bogus private digital money in a kind of social pestilence that needs to be annihilated through regulation. In short, she has no idea what blockchain technology is, what it does, how it works, or why people use it. But it has to be stopped, and she's going to stop it. Like many geriatric progressives approaching their sell-by date in Congress, Warren is so out of step that young progressives in her own party shake their heads at how wrong she is on this. And by the way, to be clear, like there are people on the left and the right that just do not get crypto. So it's, to me, I don't care what the party affiliation is. You're wrong. If this is the stance that you're taking, purely plain and simple, you are wrong, and you're a menace effectively on this front. The piece continues. But Warren is not some harmless grandmother yelling from her porch. She's the chair of a Senate banking subcommittee, and she can do real damage. In a recent letter to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler, Warren not so subtly demanded that the agency start grabbing more regulatory power in order to smash U.S.-based cryptocurrency exchanges. Yeah, and when that story came out, I covered it, and it seemed clear that. Well, let me word it like this. I don't want to get hyperbolic here, but the way that things were written, it would make one wonder, is there some sort of coordination going on behind the scenes? Because this is just giving the SEC an excuse to increase their power. And so that's why I've been saying, too, like with the SEC going after crypto and specifically Ripple and XRP, it's a power and or money grab. That's exactly what it looks like to me. Because it's certainly not rational, it's not ethical, it's just not logical, but that's what's happening right here. Anyway, the piece continues. Legal and industry experts believe that Warren colluded with anti-crypto zealots inside the SEC to write that letter as a beltway power play, hoping to lock in the SEC as the terminator before other agencies like the Commodity Futures Trading Commission dare to legitimize the utility and benefits of this new technology. Yeah, exactly. This is why I've been saying for a very long time. It's a power and or money grab. Now, in the case of the SEC, I suspect it's both. Because look, they want to disgorge Ripple of all of these profits, and is the money actually going to make it to XRP holders? Would that actually happen? Or if there's any sort of money, is it actually going to go to the SEC? Even if that happened? Anyway, taking a step back, it was an act of desperation, excuse me, by a faction of Washington dinosaurs that are poised to be on the losing side of history, and Gensler's agency is in turmoil. For the SEC, it is a spectacularly bad moment to be grabbing for more power. It started during the Trump administration with the bafflingly corrupt-looking stewardship of former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton. That's an asshat, by the way. It's a fun fact. That's an asshat. And his director of corporation finance, William Hinman. They carried out an incoherent regulatory policy for cryptocurrencies where there was no clarity on how the agency determined which coins are securities. Their erratic, market-moving statements about Bitcoin and Ethereum ultimately raised questions about whether their own personal financial interests led them to pick winners and losers among various digital assets. Yeah, and that's one of the things that's most disgusting to me. Like, the idea, so actually, to be clear, the most disgusting thing about the SEC versus Ripple case is that they harmed real investors, which they're supposed to protect. That's the most disgusting thing about this. But certainly this idea that the SEC is effectively picking winners and losers, that is repulsive also. So anyway, the piece continues. Then came the disastrous lawsuit filed against Ripple Labs, where the agency alleged that the digital token XRP has been an unregistered security for 7 years, and everyone who ever traded it should have known all along, even though the agency itself had no idea until now. The pretrial phase of the case has been so embarrassing for the SEC's legal team that it has more laughs per episode than most network sitcoms. You gotta golf clap for that line. I like that. That's good. Anyway, a group of 18,000 XRP holders, seeing blood in the water, filed a motion to intervene in the case against the agency that claims to be defending them. The judge's procedural rulings in the case seem to signal that the SEC is heading for a precedent-setting defeat that might rewrite the rules for digital assets. Oh, yes, indeed. And what do you think, by the way? It's a fun thought. Silver lining, perhaps. What do you think is going to happen to the price of XRP the moment there's an announcement of this? I don't know. So this is not financial advice, to be super duper clear. But man, isn't it reasonable to speculate that you might see a tremendous XRP price rally the moment there's clarity? And of course, there'll probably be a big retracement too, ultimately. But damn, wouldn't you think that's reasonable? Perhaps very likely. I'm just saying. I mean, just wait till the trading comes back to the rest of the exchanges in the United States. And I understand it's a small percentage of global trading volume, but there's going to be some people hungry for some XRP, I'm thinking. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, piece continues. It seems that 2 of the SEC's 5 commissioners know the tide is turning against Warren's brand of unlimited destructive power against crypto. Commissioners Hester Peirce and Elad Roisman issued a public statement days after Warren's letter went public, making it clear they don't think the agency has ever given fair notice about how digital assets are regulated, and it needs to change. Peirce is the most vocal defender of cryptocurrency technology on the SEC and has proposed a safe harbor model to nurture innovation in the space. There is a decided lack of clarity for market participants around the application of the securities laws to digital assets and their trading, they wrote, adding that the SEC's behavior is symptomatic, this is a quote now, is symptomatic of our reluctance to provide additional guidance about how to determine whether a token is being sold as part of a securities offering or which tokens are securities. End quote. Yeah, but somehow Brad and Chris and everybody working at Ripple, they all should have known all along. And you two listening to this, shame on you for not knowing that XRP was actually a security the whole time. What a bunch of freaking asshats. They defended the crypto industry's efforts to play a constructive role in getting to clarity and chided the SEC for not engaging them enough. Exactly. I'm a fan of Hester and Elad. That's for damn sure. But Warren is increasingly isolated in her extreme position among her colleagues in Congress and even among Democrats. A recent column in Roll Call, long known as a campus newspaper of the Capitol, cautioned that crypto can help solve economic injustice and that Democrats shouldn't fear them. While Warren and the SEC were laying out their rearguard action, a bipartisan group in the House introduced the Securities Clarity Act, which seeks to rein in the SEC and set clear rules for how digital assets can be regulated. It is sponsored by conservative Rep. Tom Emmer, Republican Minnesota, who leads the National Republican Congressional Committee. Rep. Darren Soto, Democrat Florida, a prominent Joe Biden supporter in the 2020 Florida primary, and Ro Khanna, who is a Democrat California, who co-chaired the Bernie Sanders presidential campaign and represents Silicon Valley. See, exactly like I'm saying, like it's to me, it's not about the political part. There are people on the left and the right that just don't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to crypto. And so here you have in this instance, an effort where some people on the left and the right have come together to combat this nonsense. Don't mind seeing that one bit. But anyway, one of Warren's Republican colleagues on the Senate Banking Committee, freshman Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis, hails from a state that has passed a model regulatory framework for digital assets and is seeking to attract startup crypto companies to build their projects there and create jobs. In fact, Ripple Labs has moved its registration there, and I remember reporting on that. Actually, I hadn't thought about that since it happened. But with the gathering cloud of doom over the Ripple lawsuit and bipartisan bills to clip the SEC's regulatory claws, Gensler had best take a deep breath before he moves in Warren's direction too decisively. The damage to his agency's already tattered credibility could be ruinous. He understands cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology well enough to know they are here to stay and will redefine how the world does business. Does he want to be on the wrong side of history and tarnish the legacy of the Biden administration in the process? Or does he want to be part of a bipartisan solution that sets this country on the right path? Golf clap. Well done, Jared Whitley. I like that piece. That's really good. And so it is fascinating, too. Gary Gensler's not stupid, but I have to say to this point, I have been rather unimpressed with the stance that he's taken. It seems clear that he just wants even more regulation. He's not walking anything back that happened that was terrible from the previous administration. And here we are still. And I get it. The SEC, of course, even if Gary Gensler actually believed that this was, these were bogus charges against Ripple, and I'm not convinced he believes that. But even if he did, I understand that the SEC would still need to save face to some degree. But it doesn't look to me like they're even trying to go that route. It's just like, yes, they're making buffoons of themselves day after day after day. The more documents get filed, the more pretrial hearings there are. Yes, they look ridiculous. But how many people are paying attention? You and I are we're in the weeds, right? We care about this stuff. The rest of the world doesn't know this, though. And so ultimately, what's going to matter for the SEC to save face? It's just the outcome. The outcome. Whatever happens, whether there's a settlement or this or that, it needs to look like a win for the SEC, and they will frame it like that, even if there's a settlement. And you know what? Fine. I don't care. I not that much anyway. I mostly just want this to be behind all of us so we can just move forward and stop with all this nonsense. So there you go. That's the update. I'll stop here, though. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.